Hello, and welcome to Swim Stories Unplugged, where we dive deep into the hearts and minds of those who live and breathe the sport of swimming. Today, we are joined by someone who's not only an incredible swimmer, but also a coach, a student, and someone who finds joy both in the water and in life. At just 19 years old, Ian Ensuncho brings a unique perspective full of laughter, wisdom, and a genuine love for the sport. Whether he's coaching young swimmers or balancing college courses, Ian has an energy that's contagious and a passion for swimming that runs deep. So grab your towel, settle in, and enjoy this heartfelt conversation with Ian. Let's dive in. And don't forget, if you're enjoying the flow, hit the like button, subscribe, and make sure to comment below with your favorite swimming memories. And just like hitting a perfect flip turn, make sure you ring the bell icon so you never miss a splash of inspiration. Let's keep the strokes going.
Ian, welcome to Swim Stories Unplugged. I'm so grateful that you are here to take the time to meet with me today.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start with your very first time that you went in the water.
Let's see. I started when I was around, I'd say as early as two. You know those like mommy and me classes that?
Yeah.
So they had them at the Boys and Girls Club in Clifton.
Okay.
So my mom used to take me there, and she'd like go through all the motions with, like as the instructor would tell her to.
Right.
But I'd say like the first time I remember getting in the water was at a beach.
Okay.
Because
Which was it local?
I don't even remember. I
You
just
don't
remember
remember.
running away from the waves every time they came
Oh.
up.
Okay.
And then like one time they touched me, I'm like, oh,
They're not too bad.
yeah.
Okay. So do you remember, like, did you learn a lot of techniques when you were doing the mommy and me classes, or was it more like just like getting the feel of water?
I honestly I don't even like remember those moments. It was mostly like my mom showing me videos after, and she was like, oh, we used to do these, and I'm like, we did.
Oh, okay.
But I'd say like a lot of like the mommy and me classes are mostly like to get you familiar with the water
Sure.
at a really young age.
Okay.
And so
But
yeah,
when did you do, like, go more in the water, or when did you start training? Tell us more about all of those things.
let's see. When I started, so when I was younger, like around 10,
Mhm.
I was still doing like those little lessons at the Boys and Girls Club.
Okay.
But and they had levels, so like
Mhm.
level one, two, three, they went all the way up to six.
Okay.
And for a while, you kept every time like the instructor thought you were good enough, you'd move up to the next level, and eventually like enough to try out for the swim team.
Okay.
And I stayed in level six for I want to say like 2 years. I just kept trying, and given like these classes were 6 weeks,
Okay.
or like probably like not, or maybe like 2 months ish,
Yeah.
like 6 to 12 weeks.
6 to 12 weeks. Okay.
So every year it was the same thing,
Okay.
and I could never get through that little level six bump.
Okay.
And it wasn't until I went to a swim clinic
Mhm.
with one of my old coaches where she actually helped me get better and get faster. And then that's when I finally was able to pass through. That's when I tried out for swim team, and then that's where it all started.
Oh, okay. So when you were in the swim team, like, when you couldn't get past, like, how did that make you feel? Did that make you want to give up? Did that make you want to try harder? Which
When I
way?
when I was younger, when I was 10, I didn't really care about swimming.
Okay.
I was mostly I didn't really have like a sport that I wanted to do. I was mostly just in that little area where it's like, oh, it's just more of a constant that like
Mhm.
we go every Saturday. I have to go there, like get a lesson, but it wasn't something like I really paid attention to. I really wanted to do.
Okay.
It wasn't until, but it wasn't until like the swim clinic where it's like, oh, now I have like motivation
Motivation.
to try and get better. Oh, I'm actually a little bit better at this now. Maybe I can push it harder.
So how was it growing up as in the sport of swimming? How did you have a parent support? Were they interested in your swimming? Tell us about your growing life.
Honestly, my parents were happy that I found something to do.
Okay.
Because like before they just didn't want me to like grow up only like watching TV, playing video games,
Sure.
and like having that more like sedentary lifestyle. So like they were like, oh, he found something he wanted to do that's active, that'll keep him healthy. We're gonna support it, but also when it got more serious,
Mhm.
they took a little bit more of a relaxed approach to it,
Sure.
because what you see a lot in swimming
Mhm.
is, or in any sport, is when like your parents are always on top of you
Sure.
and always talk to you about your performance during the sport, especially like when you did like really bad
Mhm.
or really good. Sometimes like when someone's like always on top of you,
Mhm.
it's not the best thing to have.
Sure.
So my parents, especially because they weren't swimmers growing up.
Okay.
My mom learned by getting thrown into a lake in Colombia and
Oh,
saying,
okay.
"Oh, if you survive, you survive."
You saw, yeah.
But and then my dad grew up playing basketball a lot, so they weren't very familiar with the sport of swimming.
Okay.
So they took a little bit more of like a hands off, like we'll support you,
Mhm.
like we're gonna come to your meets, we're gonna like be there for you every time you need it, every time you're there,
Sure.
but we're not gonna be like very hands on like how you're training, how you're doing this, how you're doing that,
Sure.
because that's what the coaches are for.
Right.
Because the coaches have been through it. The coaches know what they're doing, know
Yeah.
what they're talking about.
Sure.
And honestly, I think that's the best approach for everything,
Mhm.
where where it's like you always have your parents' support no matter like how you do,
Yeah.
but you always have like your coaches to be on top of you for like your performance.
Sure. That's really amazing to hear that you had that kind of coaches and also your parents to support you, even though they did not know the sport of swimming. That's amazing. So tell, like, was there any kind of favorite stroke you had at that time, and what, like, when you were in the swim team, what did you practice?
Let's see, during the swim clinic, it was mostly just a little bit of like all strokes, and I leaned a lot towards freestyle, but everyone leans towards freestyle
Sure.
when you get towards that. And then around the time I was 12, I like when I was training with when I started like getting into swim team and stuff like that.
Mhm.
After like like 2-3 years,
Mhm.
so probably when I was 13, I saw like all the fast people were doing fly.
Okay.
So so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna put two and two together. All the fast people are doing fly, I should do fly. And
Okay.
then that's kind of what ended up happening. But then it later on, I realized like it doesn't really matter what stroke
No,
you
you do.
focus on.
Right.
Like you can be fast no matter what.
Right.
But I already went with fly, so I'm like, let's keep going.
That sounds great. Like, when a butterfly has its own challenges when you're working through the learning the stroke. Like, so was there any kind of challenge you faced, or did that come through easily for you?
It was never easy.
It was never easy.
Still
Sure.
never is easy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But all the challenges really come through technique,
Mhm.
where a lot of the time it's like, oh, I wasn't really moving my hips, so that was a little hump to get over. Then it came to, oh, I'm moving my head wrong, to, oh, I'm moving my arms wrong.
so many techniques and little changes that you can make in swimming, no matter how experienced of a swimmer you are, and like you always get like a little bit faster.
Yeah.
And can you share a moment when swimming helped you through your with either challenges or something funny?
Uh, let's see. I have a few.
Okay, yeah, we are here to listen.
Uh, let's see. I want to say probably my. Uh, Let me start out with my high school years, because
Sure.
that's like mostly where I really got very serious with it,
Mhm.
and that's when I had to combine club swimming with high school with like school swimming,
Right.
which are like two different. So for the people who don't know,
Mhm.
so you have club swimming,
Mhm.
which is usually like the stuff outside of high school. These are like the people who really want to take like swim seriously, and so like you go in a separate club, they train all year round, and you do like different pools. So you go first, you have short course season, which takes up all of winter and some of spring, and then you have long course season, which takes up all of summer, which are the 50-meter pools that you see in the Olympics.
Mhm.
And then high school season are more for the people who want to get familiar with swimming,
Mhm.
and or want to have it as one of their high school sports.
Mhm.
And then but each one has its own practices, each one has its own commitments, each one has its own time that you gotta dedicate to it.
Sure.
So when I was in high school, part of the challenge was I have to stick with club swimming
Mhm.
and stick with high school swimming,
Sure.
which was a 4-hour a day commitment.
Right.
And on top of being a high school student, getting A's, trying to
Right.
balance
Sure.
everything, it was a challenge.
I can imagine. I'm sure those moments are never easy because when you're in high school, you're figuring out what sport you want to go in for, what is the next what stream you want to go in for
Yeah.
college. So I know that those times are never easy. But
And then
go ahead.
and then you never have time for anything else besides just swim and school.
Swim school, sure.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Um,
So that was your first one.
Uh,
What were the other you want to share?
let's see. I'm gonna go through a little bit. So
Sure.
freshman year, the challenge was balancing out, and then I just kept going through it. I kept trying to dedicate as much time as I could to my passions and my interests,
Mhm.
and trying to figure out what I wanted to do.
Sure.
Then all the way until junior and senior year,
Mhm.
I'd say one of the greatest things that I did was look at my training
Mhm.
and then try to see, okay, where can I add more?
Mhm.
So during some of my lunch periods, I would go down to the pool since it's all in the same building,
In the same building. Okay.
or in the mornings I would go to the gym before school,
Wow.
and then add on like an extra hour
Mhm.
of just trying to train. And I remember especially my senior year, one day I came in to my stats class after swimming,
Mhm.
and then my teacher started yelling in the class why does it smell like chlorine in here?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And she's like, why does it smell like someone just jumped in a pool? I'm like,
You did. Oh my god. Did you get in trouble for that at all? Or?
no, because you can't really get in trouble for smelling weird, but
Right. Yeah.
but being in a pool so much,
Right.
I don't really smell chlorine anymore.
Chlorine. Right. Yeah.
Especially for us,
Yeah.
we're there every day.
Right.
Unless it's a really strong
Mhm.
scent, you
Right.
can't smell
Can't
it.
smell it. Yeah, and we're so used
Yeah.
to smelling every day. It's like breathing
Yeah.
in normal every day.
Exactly.
I can feel that.
And then I remember especially during those classes, like people would look at me and be like one girl even came up to me and she's like, "Why would you go during lunch?" And I'm like, "Well, I want to train."
Yeah.
And then like more people were starting to like look at me like I was crazy,
Right.
and to me it felt normal. Like I want to train, I want to take that extra hour
Sure.
and put it in. And something I kind of realized was if people who don't do sports don't look at you as crazy,
Right.
you're doing something right.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can see that. Like, as I have a few people who tell me the same thing. Like, why do you want to swim every day? Why can't you miss a day? So, like, it's and just that feeling of being in the water is just something so magical. So I understand, like, when you say that, like, when you're not in a sport, when people are asking you, like, what it is that you do, like, why can't you skip or why do you do so much, kind of thing. So I hear you.
And also, for those of you who don't know, Peter has to wake up at 5 every morning
Yeah.
because master's practice is at 5:45, right?
Yes, 5:45. I'm usually
Actually-
there. I'm awake by 4:30 because I have to pack my breakfast, lunch, and a snack
Whoa.
for
Oh, yeah, 'cause you have
today
work
because
right after.
I go work right
Yeah.
after.
That's true. So it's like a lot hard. She wakes up earlier than I do. But
Yeah.
but yeah, what you said before, it just becomes like part of your lifestyle.
Right.
And like other people will look at you as weird, but it's what you do, it's what you want to do.
Right.
And sometimes you think it's what you have to do.
Yeah.
And then the transition from high school into college, I just wrapped up my first year of swimming, and a lot of it was similar.
Okay.
It's just trying to find where can I train, how can I train, and where can I put in the extra effort.
Sure.
And with college, it became a little bit easier because it's a lot more of a flexible schedule. And what I came to realize was as long as I can stay on top of everything I want to do, with especially like clubs, like looking for, like searching for internships, trying to like flesh out my resume. As long as you schedule it out and be aware of when everything is, then it becomes easier to plan out your training.
Sure. So you're still you just finished like your first year in
Yeah.
college, right? So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
first. And like I'm gonna say I thought you were in your early 20s, so
Oh,
I
no.
apologize for
No,
that.
I just
That
turned-
because
no.
of your experience in swimming, I thought that was your age, not considering anything else, but only because of how well you swim.
No worries. I just turned 19, so it's in the same ballpark.
Small, yeah.
In the airport the other day,
Yeah.
I came back from a conference in Florida, and
Right.
in the airport, someone thought I was 25.
Oh wow.
So, honestly,
Yeah.
I'm flattered.
Well, I'm glad to hear
Yeah.
you didn't think I were in early. But yeah, until recently, you did a mile fly, and you've been doing a lot of swimming practices as well. So tell us where else you swim and what have your experiences been at the different clubs that you swim.
I used to swim in a club called Meadowlands YMCA, and that's where I was for the first 2 years. But during COVID, everything kind of changed up. So there was this little startup team that was doing little practices, and I came over one day and I started practicing with them, and then the two guys who were running it, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna start up our own club," and that's where Rebel Aquatic Club came to be.
Sure.
Like a little bit during COVID.
Right.
So then I stuck with them for even till now.
Yeah.
Basically, because I
Yeah.
still train with them
You train.
on the off season.
Right.
But that's where I started to get really, really good. And that's where I started to gain the confidence enough to say, hey, I want to continue this throughout college. story we've done with our first year, and
Right.
hopefully 3 more to come.
Yes, that is really exciting for you to see because having that experience and that kind of vigor to have that drive to be able to have the sport as well as going into college is really amazing. Now, after your first year, do you have any goals that you want to achieve while you are in the next 3 years of college swimming?
Definitely.
Tell us,
So-
what is it be?
My first year, I didn't perform as well as I wanted to,
Okay.
but it's not my first time of being in this not doing well 1 year, then next year trying harder and seeing what I can do.
Sure.
So next year I want to try to bring down my 2 fly time
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully break 2 minutes.
To
Good.
fly under 2 minutes. Wow. Okay.
Because right now I'm at a 2:09. I know it's a little bit of a far-fetched goal,
Right. Sure.
but I want to try.
Yeah,
I
I
wanna
mean,
see what I can do.
there's nothing you can't achieve if you try. So, I definitely know for sure, with, especially when you've been, especially because you've done your mile fly already one time. So, I have full confidence and full faith that you will be able to do it, once you put in the work. Because, even when you're doing a fly and, when you're doing the butterfly stroke, doing that, it is 200 is that sweet spot between sprinting and the distance, right?
Yeah.
So, having that kind of endurance and stamina for being able to sprint the fly for that distance and being able to do that in under 2 minutes is a mighty goal, might sound but I'm sure it's achievable. The practice. So, will you continue to do club swimming practice and college swimming practice?
Yeah. How we usually do it, how most college swimmers do it, is during the main season, which is a lot shorter
Mm-hmm.
than club swimming season.
Okay.
So it starts a little bit into September,
Okay.
and then ends in January. No, ends in February,
February. Okay.
which is if you consider a lot of club teams start September and then end a little bit more into April.
Okay.
That's not a lot of time.
Right.
So what a lot of college swimmers do is they stick with their club team throughout that gap of April to August in order to stay in shape and to try and get better in the off season so they can perform as well as they can during that little interval they have.
Mm-hmm.
So what I try to do is mainly college during the in season,
Mm-hmm.
and then I stick with my club team during the off season
Okay.
and try to get better during that.
Sure.
So hopefully I can perform as well as I want to during the main season.
During the main season, do you plan to swim in the summer?
Yeah.
You do. Okay. That's very exciting. I'm so thrilled. So now, I'm gonna piggyback a little bit. When you were doing it in high school or the teens, did you have had any kind of high school training? Did you have any particular goals that you wanted to achieve and you did not achieve? You think you want to achieve in the college season, or this is what you have always been and you have progressed right along?
So I've mostly had every year I look at it as I look at that's a good question.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
You stumped me a little bit. But every year I look at it with the starting goal of I want to drop time. I
Right.
want to be faster than I am.
Mm-hmm.
Then I look at my times and
Sure.
see, okay, I'm here, I want to get here. So during 1 year during high school,
Mm-hmm.
I was at 23,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to reach 22.
Sure.
And
That was for which event again?
for 53.
53. Okay.
So for the first year, my junior year,
Mm-hmm.
I season meet, during my end season meet, which is one, which is like one of the most prepared for moments you'll have
Sure.
in club swimming.
Okay.
So that's when it's like you're shaved down, you have a tech suit on, like you trained up to it.
Sure.
I didn't drop,
You didn't drop. Okay.
and I didn't drop in anything, and I looked at that and I was devastated. But I said to myself during the next year, okay, I want to drop time. I didn't reach my goal that year. I'm gonna go 22 this year. And soon enough, during our mid-season meet, I went right from a 23 to a 22.
Oh, that's amazing.
And this year, I'm looking at it the same way. So I only dropped in fly, and I dropped a few milliseconds.
Okay.
I didn't do as well as I wanted to. So right now I'm a 56 one fly. I want to drop to a 54.
54. Okay.
So I didn't do the drop this year, but next year I want to drop time. I want to go from 56 to a 54. So I'm going to do everything to train up to it and see if I can make it.
And these are all in meters, right? That you
All
mentioned?
in yards.
Yards. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So like when you did the mile fly, what was your time?
Oh,
Do you remember?
mine was, I want to say it was like really slow. It was 40 minutes, I think.
40 minutes.
Yeah.
I can imagine because that even when I started like last year like training, I had like 41 minutes and something for the mile. Was that a mile or the 1,000? I can't remember. No, the mile. Mile. And then this year when I did, I dropped almost 8 minutes. But that was something like that's because I was like I'm
Yeah.
starting out like I'm an adult onset swimmer, so like I can imagine how much of hard work goes into dropping even those seconds or milliseconds that you have the goal for. So like I know that does not come easy. It comes with a lot of dedication, a lot of willpower, and a lot of vigor, which I see you already have. So if there's anything that you would tell like if there are listeners who are like high schoolers and like going into college, what would you suggest to them that they should do now for them to be able to be in the swim team?
I'd say just stick with the tried and true of just train. Train all you can and have those goals in mind when you train. And the more you work at it, the better you'll be, and then the quicker you'll get to your goals.
Thank you for saying that. What keeps you coming back to the water?
Honestly, it's a little bit of an addiction.
Okay, fair enough. Is it
And-
how it makes you feel or how you perform? Which one is it?
Like, I look at it more as just an integral part of my life. Like, I could not imagine my life without it. I couldn't imagine my life without teaching others how to swim, without swimming myself. I couldn't imagine my life not being near water. And going back to your question about like what keeps me coming back or like the feeling, I have those moments where I feel like I love the sport, I can do anything in the sport, and I also have those moments where it's like I don't want to do this today.
Right, yeah, we
Like-
all have that feeling.
Yeah.
Like some mornings, I hear you. You were mentioning you would want to teach. Is that something, coaching swimming, that you see yourself in the future at some point?
I coach a summer team.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, I did
And-
not know. So what ages do you teach and what strokes? Tell me more, tell me everything.
So we have as young as, I think our youngest is 4 years old, and then we have as old as 17.
Okay.
So summer swim is a little bit more for fun, but it's end of June, all of July, and then a little bit of the beginning of August.
Okay.
And what we do, and it's mostly a town against town thing our goals with Summer Swim are to introduce kids to the world of competitive swimming.
Okay.
And so we have these little meets where they verse other people in their age group, where they try to get first. And my favorite part of it is always teaching these kids how to swim these strokes, and then the fun they have when they're actually racing it, and being like, oh, I learned how to do this back in practice, and now I did it here, and I got so much faster. And seeing those moments, and seeing like those kids just get faster every time, it's just like, it just makes the world for me.
I can imagine, especially when they are younger, that feeling of joy must just keep you thrilled through the swimming. So, do you teach them any kind of particular strokes, or is that just freestyle?
So, we go through. So with Summer Swim, since it's such a quick amount of time,
Sure.
we try to get through everything.
Oh,
So we start out with freestyle, then we start transitioning into backstroke, then we get into the little bit more complicated strokes of breaststroke and butterfly. And this is all throughout 6 weeks.
6 weeks, yeah. So
like not even, sometime not even. Honestly, because our first meet is usually like 2 weeks in.
Okay.
So we have to make sure they're ready for like in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. So do you train every day for the 2 weeks?
We train 4 out of the 7 days.
4 days. Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Even for the little ones. Yeah, like we also do the 4 to 5 days, right? So I can imagine that's a lot for even the younger ones, especially if they're 4-year-olds.
Yeah.
If swimming were a metaphor for your life, what would it be teaching you right now?
I haven't thought of that. I don't even know if it would be a metaphor, because
Or a phrase?
it honestly, sometimes, it really is my life sometimes.
That's your life.
And it's just more learning about, honestly, swim has taught me so much, from growing as a person to growing training wise, that there are so many different things I could say about it, but not one would be able to justify everything. Because I really did grow coming back to the pool every day and putting 100% every day into anything I was going to do. And whether it came to training myself or to teaching someone else how to swim,
Sure.
it's always put 110%, and eventually what you put in is what you get out.
Sure. It's like you're talking about like just like life skills in general of the sport of swimming that it teaches you. Has it helped you emotionally or mental health or any of those kind of ways at all, or no?
Mental health wise, it's just a good separation from everything. And honestly, for swim, you're gonna have those moments where, like, mentally you hate it, you don't want to do it, but you're also gonna have those moments where it's everything you want to do. It takes you away from everything that's bothering you, and you just get to be there.
Yes.
And you just get to focus on one thing that's in your control. So, mental health wise, it's honestly, it can go either way.
Sure.
Of whether it's gonna help you or like be the reason you're down on your luck. It's just the way, it's just how the day is, honestly.
Yeah.
And I know that isn't the best answer.
No, that's okay. That's your answer. Listen, that's you're 19. You're not an adult yet. Like they say it's 24. But for the 19-year-olds, you have a lot of vision for yourself, not just in swimming, but at least in college and in the next couple of years. So that's really amazing, and I'm sure our listeners will be thrilled to hear your story. What do you hope your swim story inspires others?
Honestly, I just hope it gives others the motivation to give it a chance. Because a lot of, well, I don't want to say a lot of my life,
Mhm.
but it, but it would be true given I'm 19.
19,
But
sure.
from like age 0 to age 11,
Yes.
as ridiculous as it sounds,
Your life, okay, go on.
I didn't know like what I wanted to do sport wise. So
Sure.
every kid goes through like kind of what I like to call the gauntlet,
Yeah.
which is your parents sick you in everything. So at one point I was doing soccer, basketball, karate, this, that.
Right.
But it wasn't until I decided to take the chance on swimming where I really found what I wanted to do. I found a sport that inspired me to become better, to become more physically active, and to set goals for myself.
Sure.
And but it wasn't until I took the chance that I was able to gain all those things from it. So a lot of what I especially see now with summer swim is a lot of a lot of parents, a lot of families, a lot of kids look at it and say, "Hey, I want to give swimming a chance."
Sure.
And those kids are the ones that I love to see when they come back next year, or they decide to join the club team, because they took a chance on it and they found something they really loved, and hopefully it'll give them as much as it's given me.
That's really amazing to hear, like, because I know the sport of swimming, there's not even though we know that there are Olympians and everything, but there are not enough people choosing the sport of swimming for either their college career or even later in life. That's something that I feel like, compared to other sports like NFL and all of those, the Super Bowl, all of those things are like such a big thing in, especially here in the United States. I wish swimming was there more in this, and you're inspiring the next generation, if you will. Well, you are still this generation of swimming, so that's really amazing.
Honestly, going back to that, I think it's a lot because it's harder to get into. And because if you think about it, not only a certain amount of the population knows how to swim. I mean, compared to like the amount of the population that knows like how to run, and then so like when from running you go to how to control a ball, and then that's when you can get into those sports.
Sure.
But swimming, you have to get over that first barrier of, oh, I need to get used to being in the water, which for a lot of people, I've even seen adults who can't really get over that fear until they're pushed. And so if you look at that percentage, it's a lot less than the amount of people who know how to run.
Definitely.
And then even less of those people decide, I want to stick with this enough to get to a higher level, and then it just keeps going down from there, because then you have the people who quit, the people who don't want to pursue it outside of like high school, the people who don't want to pursue it like even collegiately.
Sure. And seen a lot of people in the swimming world who have either especially somebody like Eddie, he swam in college and then there was a break and then he came back to master swimming later in life. I think our team has a few of those people like that, like Yara, and there were other people also, who swam in college level and then a few years of sabbatical and then they came right back into swimming. So I think it's probably the love of the sport, and also having the right kind of coach early on. It doesn't. I feel like what you are doing in the summer school is really amazing, that you're inspiring the younger swimmers to be in the water and have that love for water, and also uh, laying that foundation. It's just like how in school, preschool or kindergarten, all of those years lay the foundation for schooling to come for the next 10, 12 years. And then like that, if if there were more people who would dedicate themselves, their kids, to have that foundation for at least knowing or having that life skill, that would be so amazing. So I hope your story inspires young swimmers, and I hope you coach me one day. We're honored to share your story. Thank you for being part of Swim Stories Unplugged.
Thank you for inviting me.
What a conversation with Ian. From his experiences in the pool to the lessons he's learning on the side of it, it is clear that his passion for swimming runs much deeper than just competition. Whether it's through coaching or navigating college life, swimming a mile fly, Ian is a reminder that the journey is just as important as the destination. We hope you enjoyed the laughs, the insights, and the stories as much as we did. Thanks for tuning in to Swim Stories Unplugged. Until next time, I'm your show host, Hetal Sampat. Keep your head above water, keep swimming, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. And of course, ring the bell icon to stay on course with every new episode.